Buddy, this is RBR Short Films 13, aka Ryan, and today I'm doing a video of basically happy fall, guys. This is September 21st. I believe September 21st is always the first day of fall. Go on my calendar. Doesn't say, but from what I remember, always growing up and you know my whole life, is it September 21st. Um, and yeah, this is always an exciting day. Halloween 2018, guys. Yep. Um, wow. Like I can't believe it. Like we're in 2018. And the Halloween movie is coming out, and my movie's coming out, The Devil's Servant, October 6th. Halloween is October 19th. Uh, and I think a couple other horror movies. And you got to imagine, like, I don't know if Netflix is going to add on more horror movies next month. There's going to be AMC, and the horror marathons, Halloween movie marathons, uh, and like straight to video other horror movies, and hopefully there's a variety to watch. And set that aside. There's decorating for Halloween. I love decorating. I'm going to decorate my room. In fact, I'm going to decorate my house. Uh, it's such an exciting um, time. Like I never say that. Like, it's an exciting time to be alive, and it is an exciting time to be alive during this time, which is Halloween, which is October, which is fall. And I like to just start celebrating Halloween in not early, and by this point, September 21st, because life goes too fast and it's over before you know it. So you want to enjoy. That's why, like with Christmas time, I start to celebrate Christmas on Black Friday. Like I'll set up my Christmas tree and start decorating even before December starts. So I'm a big fan of holidays. My parents loved all Halloween and Christmas and all that, and they just got me into these holidays, and you know that's awesome. Because um, like when I was a kid, like my mom, she would run these Halloween parties like no other. Like this was 1998, 1999 Halloween parties, like the end of the 90s Halloween parties in the Midwest. It was I lived in a neighborhood that looked like Haddonfield, Illinois. It looked like Michael Myers could actually, when I was a kid, I actually had nightmares of Michael Myers chasing me in my neighborhood, and actually they were fun dreams when I was a kid. Um, because I was able to separate reality from fantasy, and so like I could do that in my dreams as well. Like when I'd wake up, be like that was fun. I was like living a horror movie. It was like, but in a way where it didn't happen. It was just a dream. So it felt like I was like it was like being in a movie, and it was really cool. Um, and yeah, I had nightmares of Freddy Krueger when I was a kid. I would like it. My nightmares were so creative. Like it would literally be a Freddy Krueger nightmare where I would hear him and I would go down to the downstairs, and I like saw myself as like older. Like I pictured myself that I'd be really tall when I grew up, like my dad, and I'm tall now. But it was weird. It was like me uh, at like 16, 17, hearing a noise, going downstairs, and seeing just like random weird things that would be in a Freddy Krueger dream. And then he would appear, and then my basement would turn into a dungeon lair that he'd be chasing me after, and the steam and the laugh, and the sound, like all that was in the dreams. It was so cool though, and I'd get a lot of those nightmares during October time. But it was fun though, like to enjoy all these Halloween stuff. So I remember. Um, I first watched so many of the Halloween movies on AMC because my dad didn't want me to watch uncensored Halloween movies. He wanted me to watch it on TV where the the good stuff was cut out. You know what I mean? Where he wanted me to watch the movies but not see the like the brutality. Um, and it was cool though to watch the movies like that at a young age because I was able to watch Michael Myers, The Shape, Halloween, but it was still edited, so whatever was too disturbing for me at that age, like I was able to wait and see that when I got older. And I remember getting the DVDs of Halloween 4 and 5 when I was 11, and finally I watched it unedited, and I was like, oh wow, like I can see why you know certain parts uh, were cut out. There were sometimes I'd watch it and be like, that wasn't too bad. Like, why was that cut from TV? Um, and my mom, she did not let me watch Halloween 6, The Curse of Michael Myers, until I was older. Like, she said, this one is way too much uh, for you. Um, and because she thought like the original and two and Halloween 4 and 5 had like it was it was tasteful, I guess. And with Halloween 6, it was really brutal. You know what I mean? Like the when he kills Jamie and Michael does this in the barn. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. He put the blowing the head off. The asshole dad when his head blows up and all this crazy stuff. She didn't want me to see that. Um, and Also, that's not really what Halloween is, too. You know what I mean? Like Halloween, it's meant to be gory here and there, but I love how Halloween 2 handled it. It felt like the original movie. Halloween 2 is my personal favorite. The original Halloween 2. I know everybody's all about the original, and I always respect the original Halloween, and I love the original Halloween. I love it so much. But Halloween 2 knocks it out of the park. Like, so that the new movie ignoring Halloween 2 does bother me a lot because it was the Empire Strikes Back to the series. That's Michael Myers' sister, and he tried to he killed his sister 15 years ago, and now he's trying to kill the other. Like it was iconic, and Dr. Loomis when he shot through the window and was like threatening the marshal guy, and it's a great movie. And Dick Warlock did an incredible job as Michael Myers, especially that he's not Nick Castle. You know what I mean? Like I almost thought he was better than Nick Castle. The whole his walk in that hospital setting, you really felt like that was Michael Myers. That was the shape. You didn't question it. And when you find out that now I already knew Laurie and Michael were related. It was the same thing with Star Wars. I already knew Luke and Vader were they were related. So that wasn't a surprise, but both movies did it well. Empire Strikes Back and Halloween 2, I thought, were both iconic in that way. But so like in this new movie, if it's all about Laurie after Michael and Michael after Laurie, why aren't they just related? You know what I mean? Like if and by the way, this shirt's orange. I don't know how the lighting's picking up on it. It's really orange. This shirt. Um, but I always looked at the original Halloween and Halloween 2 as a supercut. Like you watch both films back to back, and it's like a long 3-hour movie. And so really Halloween 2 doesn't even feel like a sequel. It just feels like a continuation of the first movie. They did that so well with the cinematography and everything and the performances. It just felt like it was more of that night. And so I would understand why they would exclude Halloween 4, 5, 6, 7, you know, 8. But to exclude Halloween 2, the film has too much history to just avoid it. It does make it interesting and it does make it different than H2O. So them not being related, we won't think about H2O as much. But um, yeah, I'm always gonna miss the brother sister dynamic, and how powerful that was. Because to me, growing up, Halloween's about family. Like Michael's always after family members. Even though he's the shape, he's after his family, and that scared me. I mean, that was terrifying. But it was interesting though, because it introduced new characters and it just made everything more interesting than just some random teenagers. You know what I mean? That's for Friday the 13th. It worked for Friday the 13th. It worked for Jason. And what was cool about the family story, Michael Myers after all his family, is it separated how similar he was to Jason. So there was a difference between the two. Jason was never after family. Michael was always after family. So there was a difference between the characters. And now there isn't. They're both the same to me now. Like Michael's just after random people. Jason was, he always had a reason. Kids would go to, his territory, Camp Crystal Lake, and he would kill them for that. But they weren't family related. So they're very much similar now. It seems like Michael Myers is just trying to make Haddonfield his again, rather than anything. Is it really? Is he breaking out of the Smiths Grove Asylum or wherever he is? I assume it's Smiths Grove Sanitarium, but he's going to drive all the way back to Haddonfield just to look for babysitters. 40 years later, that's all he's going to do, and just kill random people. Like, it made sense by that point with H2O that he went into Dr. Loomis's old records and files, and we find out that Dr. Loomis and the nurse what helped Lori fake her death, and he found out where she was, that she was in California, and in that opening, it's like, whoa, and he drives all the way to California to find her, and that felt like a Halloween movie. It felt like a Halloween story, that family dynamic, and with Laurie's son, and it was powerful to me. It's like I felt something. Like it was really powerful. Family stories are so powerful to me. And I just hope that with this new movie, even though they're taking out the family related thing, that it just doesn't hurt because everybody's going to go into this movie knowing they were brother and sister, and there's going to be moments where we're thinking they're brother and sister, but they're not. Um, so I see no reason why Michael would be after Laurie 40 years later if they're not related. I mean, it's not her fault why he was locked up in Smith's Grove. Dr. Loomis shot him. It'd be Dr. Loomis that saved the day. So I don't know why he'd be after Laurie. Um, or even by that point, why he'd break out. 40 years. You think that Michael would have just been like, I'm done. I'm too old for this shit. Um, so, the Resurrection timeline, even though that wasn't a good movie, I was hoping they would have continued Resurrection's timeline and made him the Shape that way, leaving the H2O story, and then leading into him becoming the Shape again. That made more sense. But to redo this over again and bring back Jamie Lee Curtis and, all this, but them not being related after it's one of the most iconic elements of the Halloween franchise. It's like, imagine Star Wars took away "I'm Your Father." Imagine that. It feels like that moment in The Last Jedi, with uh, they were nobody, when Rey says her parents were nobody, and Kylo says they were filthy drunk traders, sold you out for drinking money. Um, we're literally Rey's a nobody. There's no family. It's like her character doesn't matter, and Luke's story became 10 times more intriguing and everything when you find out his father's Darth Vader. And so it created that dynamic, and more intensity with Return of the Jedi, and, just that changed the franchise, but it enhanced it. And that's what Halloween did. So to take that away, it's like, hey, Luke and Leia were never brother and sister, I mean, you take away those elements that have become so crucial by this point. Um, but anyway, I cannot wait for the movie. I can't wait to keep celebrating. I can't wait to start celebrating this holiday this fall. So happy fall, and hope everybody enjoys this Halloween time. I'll make more videos soon. I'm in the final stages of putting together The Devil Servant. I'm almost done with it. I just have a few more days to put it together, and I can't believe it, guys. It's right down the road. Um, so, wow. The Devil's Servant, I'll end the video here. But, I wrote this storyline when I was in high school. when I was in junior year in my homeroom. Anytime I was in my, not in a homeroom, sorry, study hall. Every time I was in study hall, I had my this little notepad, this notebook, and I'd write uh, the story, and I started writing the script. I'd write the characters and this and that, and the story completely changed later on because I didn't feel like that worked by that point. It still could, but I wanted to do something different. And I wanted to surprise myself. Like if I was an audience member, the previous screenplay was kind of predictable. It still would have been good. I could still reuse it because a lot of people when they make a sequel to a movie, they take a lot of elements from the writings that parts of the scripts that didn't make it into the movie or parts of the story outlines, previous drafts of scripts. They put those elements into the sequels, which is probably what I'm going to do if I make a Devil Servant sequel. If you guys demand a Devil Servant sequel, I'm gonna make it anyway. But to see people like say, "Hey, I would like to see a sequel to this." This movie does have a beginning, middle, and end, but I've always had a sequel in mind, even when I started filming this movie. So um, I always pictured it as two films, and for the two movies to stand on its own, but to still be that series. So yeah, I hope you guys are excited, and I make a video soon. And happy fall, guys! So go on hay rides, go to haunted houses, go Halloween parties. If you're a kid, enjoy trick or treating because I stopped trick or treating when I was 17, and it was so heartbreaking. When you're an adult and you're too old for that stuff, that was tough. Um, but just growing up in the Midwest and like those neighborhoods and the anybody that's grew up in the Midwest and gets it, with where all the houses would be decorated. You walk all the neighborhoods and you see the lights, the Halloween lights and the pumpkins, and it just makes you feel like you're living in a Halloween movie and you're living that fall time. You're really experiencing it. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you guys soon, and yeah, all right, peace.